This is the Year 9 Numeracy procedural sample test. Question 1. 37 plus blank equals 1002. Probably the simplest way to solve this one would be to work backwards and do 1002 minus 37. This involves a lot of borrowing and eventually gives us an answer of 965. Now a similar strategy could be used in the next one. Blank minus 25.6 equals 53.9. We could actually do 53.9, add the 25.6. This then gives us an answer of 79.5. Write 80% as a decimal. Well, 80% as a fraction means 80 over 100. And if we do actually divide that 80 by 100, it gives us as an answer 0.8. Now 0.61 as a percentage. Now to turn a decimal to percentage, we multiply by 100, which gives us 61%. And the final part of this question is to write 23 quarters as a mixed number. Now this is a top-heavy or improper fraction, so to turn this to a mixed number we ask ourselves how many 4s go into 23? And the answer is 5, because 5 4s are 20. That leaves us with a remainder of 3. And then the original fraction was quarters, so our answer will be quarters. It takes David 1 hour and 30 minutes to drive 63 miles from his home to Swansea. What is his average speed? Now in order to do this we can use the speed distance time cover-up triangle, where speed is distance over time. So the thing you've got to be careful about here is when we turn that time into hours, we must use the decimal equivalent, and 30 minutes is half an hour, but don't put 1.30. You must remember that half as a decimal is 1.5. Now in order to work out this division, a very quick and easy way to divide by a nasty decimal like this is to make an equivalent division. Now if I double both numbers in this division, I will get 126 divided by 3. And if I actually do that division, the answer will be, well, 3 goes into 12 4 times, 3 goes into 6 twice, it will be 42 miles per hour. 2 add 2 cubed. Now 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. So this is really 2 plus 8, which is 10. Now the second part of this is a BIDMAS question, so we have to make sure we do this in the correct order. And the B in BIDMAS is brackets, so we must work out the brackets first. So 12 take away 9 is 3, so it's 3 squared, add 8 divided by 2. Now the I in BIDMAS stands for indices, so we must work out the 3 squared next, so it becomes 9 plus 8 divided by 2. Now we're down to our last two operations, and we've got an addition and a division. Now in the BIDMAS, the D comes before the A, so the division must get done first. So this becomes 9 add, and 8 divided by 2 is 4, so 9 add 4 is 13. Our next question requires us to write the symbols less than, greater than or equal to in the box in order to make the equations make sense. So the first one, 65% and 0.66. Well, 0.66 is really 66%, so we can see that 65% is less than 66%. Now, with the next one, 0.4 and a quarter. Well, a quarter as a decimal is 0.25, and therefore 0.4 is bigger than 0.25. Now, the next two, 40% and 2/5. Well, 2/5 is the same as 4/10, which is the same as 40 hundredths, or 40%. So these two are in fact equal. Now the final one, 1/16 and 4%. Well, 4% would be 4 out of 100 as a fraction. Now if I cancel this down and divide top and bottom by 4, how many 4s go into 4? 1. How many 4s go into 100? 25. And I know that the fraction 1/16 is in fact a bigger fraction than 1/25. Work out the area of this circle and use pi equal to 3.14. Well, area of a circle is given using the formula pi times r squared. So we're going to use 3.14 for pi The radius of this circle is 10, and don't forget to square it. So that becomes 3.14 times, and 10 squared means 10 times 10, so that is 100. And if we multiply the 3.14 by 100, it becomes 314. Work out 13.8 times 0.2. Now, in order to do this, we need to do 138 times 2, which is 276. Now, our answer must have the same number of decimal places as the question, and we had 2 digits in total after the decimal points in the question. So our answer must have 2 dp. So my answer is going to be 2.76. Question 8. Dev and Anna each invest £500, and after 1 year, Dev's £500 has decreased by 5%, Anna's £500 has increased by 15%. After 1 year, how much more does Anna have than Dev? So we need to think about working this out in 2 separate parts. So Dev, well, 10% of Dev's £500 would be £50. Therefore, 5% would be half of this, which would be £25. Now, Dev's £500 decreased by £25, so if we do 500 minus 25, we know that Dev had £475. Now, Anna, 10% of her £500 would be £50, and 5% would be half of that, which is £25, giving us 15%, or would be add up the 2 numbers, so it's £75. And hers increased by that amount, so she would have 500 plus 75, which is £575. Now, have I answered the question? The question says, after 1 year, how much more does Anna have than Dev? Well, Anna has exactly £100 more. Question 9. 3 cubed minus 3 squared. Well, 3 cubed means 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. 3 squared means 3 times 3, so 3 times 3 is 9. And if we do 27 minus 9, that gives us 18. What is the bearing of A from B? So we are measuring from point B clockwise until we face in the direction of A. Now, there's an interesting fact here. When we have a pair of north lines, we will create, in fact, a C-shaped angle or an allied angle. And the property of these angles is that they have a sum of 180 degrees. So the angle I've marked here must be 50 degrees. Now, that isn't the answer for the bearing, but what I can do is I can take that answer away from the full turn, 360 degrees, and that tells me that my bearing is going to be 310 degrees. 11. What is the reciprocal of 5/6? Well, in order to find the reciprocal of a fraction, we simply flip the fraction upside down. So the answer for this one is 6/5. Now, indices. 10 to the power of 4 times 10 to the power of 5. Well, this would be 10,000 times 100,000. And if we multiply those 2 numbers together, we end up with a number that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros. Now, we could have done it like this with all the zeros, but the easiest thing by far would have been to have used the rule of adding the powers or indices. So 10 to the power 9 would have been a much simpler way to have done this one. The tomatoes shown are £1.48 for 250 grams worth. How much would it be for 2.75 kilograms worth? Now, a few ways to do this, but the way I'm going to use is, I'm going to first of all remind myself that 2.75 could also be 2.750 kilograms, because this will help me later. Now, how many lots of 250 grams are there in 1 kilogram? Well, there's 4, because there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram. So in each kilogram there would be 4 lots of 250. So in the first kilogram that's 4, the second kilogram that's another 4, taking me up to 8 lots, and then in that 750 grams that's another 3 lots of 250. All in all, that's 11 lots of 250. So what I have to do here now is multiply the £1.48 by 11. Now to do this, the easiest way is to do 10 lots of £1.48, which is £14.80, and another one lot of £1.48, which is obviously £1.48, and then add those two values together, and that would give me £16.28 as an answer. Now to work out 8,667 divided by 27, it would be useful to have some of the 27 times table written down on the side of the page to help me. So there are the first 5 answers in the 27 times table. So I'm now going to do this using a short division technique, really. So I ask myself, how many 27s go into 8? Well, that doesn't go, so I carry the 8. How many 27s fit into 86? Well, it's the third answer that fits in best, and that 3 27s are 81, which means there's a remainder of 5. Now, how many 27s fit into 56? The second answer of 54 is the closest, with a remainder of 2. And how many 27s go into 27? Well, that's 1. So the answer is 321.